Andrea. Thank you for joining in today.
Hi, Priya. You're very welcome. Good morning.
Good morning. I really appreciate your acceptance for being a speaker at my event, and I'm sure it is going to be high value. I've heard you many times being part of community. I really appreciate. So before we jump into the more, your topic and other stuff, I would like to know what made you to become an entrepreneur? When do you decided and why do you decide?
Oh, that's a good question. I haven't thought about that for a long time. I think that originally, so this would have been in the 90s. I think that originally I think I wanted to be, master of my own destiny. I thought I wanted a place to be able to have my own creativity and be my own boss. Probably a lot of the reasons most people, decide to branch out on their own. And I had this idea, which I eventually started in my first business, which was a gift delivery service. And I had this idea for probably about 5 years, just swirling around in my head. I used to think about it all the time. I used to wake up at night and think about it. And then because I remember that we had florists and I would just, I love flowers, but I remember thinking, what if you want to deliver something that isn't flowers? And obviously with the invention of the internet, eventually I stepped in and took the plunge, but I did it with a business partner because I happened to meet someone who had the same idea as me. And so we said, let's go into business together. So we kind of emboldened each other to take a leap forward. But I think the original concept was me just, I'm not driven by lots of money. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to make lots of money. It was more about being, I guess in control of my day and but it was never like it. When I say to people starting out, it was so much more than that. Do you know what I mean? Like the seed that planted it. The desire was,
when you think about like control of day, I feel like you want to decide your destiny yourself. It's not just about controlling your days.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. But then the other thing is that, we all know this as business owners, once you do make a start, you work harder than you've ever worked before.
Right.
So I didn't have an issue with that because I didn't think to myself, oh, well, I won't have to work as hard. I knew that it would be hard work right from the get-go. So, but I know there are some people who think, oh, well, maybe if I won't have to work as hard kind of thing. But it's just like, you work harder than you ever have because it's all the desire to not fail or to make it work is incredibly strong, right?
And the choices you make, you actually sign up for that.
Correct, 100%. But I think that what most people don't realize, but when they're starting out, or that we will all understand, all of us who are in it, it's the most self-reflective. Like the personal growth factor of having a business is immense. Like the education side, not just the things that you need to learn about running a business, but just how it challenges you on so many levels. Like it's the biggest journey. Next to parenting, I think it's the biggest journey you can go on.
Right. And it has so many lessons to learn, and you become a person, you become out of those challenges. So going forward, I would like to ask you, what do you think about brand positioning in that sense?
Brand positioning in the context of your own business, or just in general?
Yeah, I mean, in general, your personal branding and it affects your business as well. So 100%. Overall, in a brand positioning, even if you are a solopreneur or an individual, your brand sells. Like I always say, it's a human to human selling, right? You don't sell to the business. You always sell to another human, right?
Yes.
I like your business. I become part of community because I like Andrea, not because, Women with Altitude has its own entity. Like you define that space.
I do understand what you're saying. I think when we start, I think that we do a lot of work on positioning our brand and understanding who our client is and working out how our look and feel and our values are. And I think that when we first probably start, people don't spend enough time on that brand positioning. But then if solopreneurs and people like myself work on it as you go. So I know that when I started, it was kind of my brand positioning, or the way I looked at brand positioning, was very much, you know, ticking the boxes of these particular things. But as I moved forward in my business, I did a deeper dive into my brand and really understood the values that we wanted to share, the type of community, because, you know, we are a business and leadership community, but the culture to me was very important. So we then looked at our brand positioning and changed the way we positioned our brand a little bit to actually reflect those values. And that in turn spoke to our ideal audience, the people who had similar values to us. And that was a big turning point, because then we then kind of, it's almost like pre-qualifying people before they come, but this is the kind of community that we are, and that is reflected in our brand, and therefore we attract the right kind of people, I guess, that are our kind of fit. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So
it does make sense.
I think it's really important. So for all businesses, you know, really understanding and positioning themselves with their brand is so important, and probably takes a bit more time than what we sometimes give it.
And if you look at the events, like, you know, I know we all are choosing different channels, and after this COVID, you know, Zoom become, and we are chatting, like we could have made more time. We needed more time to meet, but now we can actually save some time. That's all understood. But what do you think about when you go to the events, you know?
Do you mean like networking events or any event?
Networking events, especially events, you know, like in-person events, or how do you choose your channel?
So for me, I have a different take on a lot of the attending events. So for me, I believe that I encourage people to build a community around their business. And so what I mean by that is that spending time attending events and actually meeting people and developing relationships is really, really key to the success of a business.
Right.
And I know that I run a community, but I didn't run a community in the first part of my business life, but it was the part that actually saved me to a degree, from in the sense of helped me understand my business, helped me to relate. People were going through the same problems as I was. People were able to offer help or perspective, and they understood business. So I see going to events is a way to increase your knowledge, but also to expand and build your community and develop relationships with people. And from there, you can then move into things that are collaborative. And that is the key to, especially for solo entrepreneurs. And I'm probably talking about people who are just in their small business, going hard. I'm probably not talking about big corporates that have got angel investors with lots of money. I'm talking about people who are usually self-funded and are doing their own idea from scratch. A lot of people go into business and then just start doing it on their own or with their partner, and without realizing it can be quite isolated, because they're just on the treadmill going really hard in their business. Or they just go to one event and maybe just try and find some things. Whereas I'm saying, be regularly in touch and be part of a community, and watch the support and the development of your network and community around your business will help you. They'll help you to succeed, because if you're in the right type of community, then they will want to help you to move forward and succeed as well. So events are very important.
I mean, I always believe that, you know, if you like, yes, I was always encouraged by you since I met you in last 7-8 years, right? You know, be part of the community and all. And I do like it. And I always try to follow as much as possible. But when I started, yes, it was a lifesaver. And I always believe that, you know, the network is said for a reason. It's not because that you get the monetary benefit. The personality you groom, the knowledge you gain, you know, the mental health support you get at that time, you know, it all comes from community. You will not get those support from the strangers, right?
No, that's right. That's
And
right. And so that adds up to, like, you can't really put a price on it, right? So I
no,
call that a currency. So it has an amazing currency or amazing value. And you have a small membership a year or whatever, but what you actually gain from it. Or people who have just started out, they say, oh, I don't have a marketing budget yet. And I say, yes, you do. What you're going to networking, that's your marketing budget. If you're really starting from scratch, then you are marketing by talking and sharing your knowledge and keep showing up and building relationships. Then that's your marketing budget. If you don't have any money to spend on a particular channel right now, that's okay, because you can start doing it this way. It's slower, but
yeah,
it is also incredibly effective. But what you have out there is people who aren't even doing that,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So they're not even spending, they're in their bubble, working really hard trying to move forward, and they're not actually participating in a community very well. So
Yeah, and I always believe when you listen someone, it's easier to find those blind spots you can't see when you are driving, right?
yes. Yeah, I just did on Friday, we did our Make It Happen event, which
Right,
is work on your business.
right.
And we come out of your business for a day once every 3 months and work on your plan. But we do it in a group, a small group of people, because of that blind spot, because your business is right here all the time. And so other people who you can develop trust with or who are also in your corner that want you to succeed, can say, well, what about this? Have you thought about that? And they give each other incredible insight and objective ideas and perspectives that you can't see because you're too close to it. Like you say,
Right,
the blind
right.
spot. So
And
that
you learn
comes,
from someone else's
yes,
experience.
yes. So I always say, when you approach a community or a networking and think, I'm going to start to expand my network, think about what you can contribute rather than what will I gain from this.
For
Think about
sure.
what you can contribute, because you've got knowledge to share and you've got things that you could help other people. And if you come from that heart-centered approach, what happens is lots of people want to then engage with you, and then you actually receive without realizing. But I think the intent has got to be contribution. And then when that's seen in that light, because a lot of people use networks to come and try and sell their services, and you wouldn't walk into a restaurant of people you don't know and just hand everybody your business card. Like, that would be weird, right?
Right.
But
Yeah,
that's what
yeah.
some people still think networking is, and that's just what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean,
I think
unless you
I've
get,
strayed from your question, but anyway.
yeah, I think when you actually going into a networking, when you're contributing your time, you are investing your time. Time is, biggest commodity for me, and at least,
Yes.
more than money. And when you go and invest your time, you need to make sure that it's more than those financial reasons. Because if you want to do a financial reason, there are 100 places you can get the financial growth, right? You were
Yes.
doing the
Yes.
job, you were getting paid salary anyway, right?
Yes.
There is, money problem was always solved, right? You came to this to find something else, right? To
Yes.
fulfillment and all. And when you start communicating with people, you start building. I built a lot of collaborative partners during this time, through the
Yes.
networking only. I would have
Yes.
not known to those people. I
That's
would have
right.
not known you if I would have
That's
not
right.
known you.
So we have conversations and we develop trust, and we see what you're trying to do, and we try and think of things to help each other. That's what it's about. And the small business community is small. That's why
Yeah,
it's called small business. It's smaller than what people think. Like, I know it makes up a huge proportion of people and income in this country, but essentially where you live, you will see a lot of the same people. And everybody works really hard. And so my suggestion is always, well, if you can do that with collaboration partners, or make it easier, or find pathways to get more help, you discover all of that through joining communities and networking and participating. Yeah.
right. And my message to all the migrants, I says, only if you go, you will know how the country works and how
Yeah.
people work. Our work culture is very different than where I come from. So I only learned because I'm being open to be part of that community, open to accept how the things works, open to accept the information I wanted to receive, observe, monitor. I have watched you, like how you talk, how your body language behaves. I started by just looking at you and your other, members of the community. I
Yeah.
just watched them and learned so much just by watching, you know.
Yeah. Well,
You
and
don't
we're
need to
learning from
explain
you.
me for that. I just
Yeah.
watched, you know.
Well, for me, I want to live my life with an open heart, and I'm trying to succeed in life, but I'm also trying to make a difference, and certainly for women, and to help women be more accomplished, be more visible, amplify their stories. So when you're doing something that you love and it is aligned with your purpose, I think then you can just be yourself. Well, I hope to think that, I'm the same, whether I'm on stage, off stage, one-on-one, I'm always the same. But that's because I just don't know how to do anything. I just don't know how to be indifferent. So I feel I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah.
Because I think that all of us, every human, we've all got things that we're working on. We've all got difficult things in our past, or, problems in our present day. And to me, leaning into a bit of vulnerability, sharing with other people is the key, because you're more than just your coffee shop, or you're more than just your business service that you offer. And I think that the model that we live in society is it's a masculine model. So it's competitive, and it's like you have to knock out the other competitors and win. And I believe that you can win and succeed in your own business, but you can help other people win and succeed too. And it doesn't have to be one's better than the other. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And
I know there are people that go, oh, but that's like saying, oh, you're giving everybody a medal. And that's just like, that's so woke and all that sort of stuff. Well, I disagree in terms of from a business perspective, because if I help you have a successful event, or if I share things with you, or if I help lift you up, I don't lose from that. How can I lose from lifting up another woman or helping them their business to succeed? I just don't see that's I don't have anything that I can lose. I can only gain from that.
For me, a message to them: I'm too busy competing with myself. I don't have time to compete with anybody
Oh,
else.
I love that. I love that. Yes, because to me, that's where the competition is, like trying to always be better, how we can always better ourselves. I love that, Priya. I'm going to write that in my weekly newsletter this week.
Yeah, I'm truly
that.
too busy, and I haven't
love that.
compared myself. I haven't achieved myself.
I'm
So
writing
I
it
don't have
down. I'm going to do a quote from Priya. That this is your quote.
So you are a speaker of corporality, and I really appreciate it.
You're very
So
welcome.
how would you, what do you think about Corporality Summit, and what would you like to say to the audience?
Well, I think it's a great thing to attend in terms of always expanding your knowledge. So I've been in business now for 23 years, and I always say that I am still learning at the same rate and pace that I did when I first started, because in 23 years, business has also changed a lot, and how we interact and we do business has changed so much as well. So I just think you have to look at it as this journey of business is ongoing. So it's so important to come and learn, hear new ideas, hear from different speakers, learn what other people are doing, or what worked for them that wouldn't work for you, or would work for you might not work for them. All of that melting pot of knowledge can be shared at events like this. So they're very important. So I'm so glad that you're doing it. And it's just great to gather and learn so we can be better.
Right. And there are plenty of networking opportunity and collaboration opportunity we open up. At the event, we are actually having the pitch night as well. So if you have business to pitch, you can also participate in that. There are so many investors are coming to talk about, people like you, and sharing their wisdom and knowledge and experience throughout the years. You have learned, 14, 15, 30 years experience is in one room. So amazing to see the gathering. So
Yeah,
I
it'll
would
be
look forward.
fantastic.
Yeah, I look forward to meet you all, guys. Come and join us, and you will be getting to know us, not just know us. We will be getting a lot of other opportunity to network and grow your network and your business with us. Thank you.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks, Priya.